Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Justin Masterson Show. I'm your host, Justin Masterson, but I'm not alone. Along with me, I got my guy, Mr. Matthew Zappasodi.
What's up, party people?
And, you know, it's not just us, because we are starting off with our guest here. As we're popping a little KEVI in there. We actually have a guest with us today, and this time we're just putting the guests in from the get-go. And we're just having a good old time with it. And, there we are together.
I was wondering where you were.
I know. I was hiding from you because it was just too much fun that way. And now I wanted to show up for you. And now it's not just us, but we also give it up for the Reverend Mark Masterson is in the house.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing? Also known as my father, Mr. Mark Masterson. How are you today, sir?
I am good. How are you, Pastor Mark's son?
Oh, man, I am doing great. Just having a wonderful time hanging out over here. As you know, as we always know, you've been on the call for like 20 minutes now, waiting for us to set things up and move this, that, and the other. Has that been enjoyable for you, Dad?
Sure, just to see how the inner workings of the Justin Masterson show goes. Yeah.
Oh, it's special, isn't it, Zach?
We should give them the audience, or not audience, but just the interviewees. We should give them a camera to see the madness of your Dr. I don't know, Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Give them a little inside view.
Yeah, just piecing together all the stuff to figure out how to make it work and have it go. No, it is it's good and it's fun. But we're not here alone. So we're on season 2, and for season 2, we're simplifying it, bringing in the guests from the get-go. So you're here as we start, and then we'll have some questions for you here shortly. But first, I was wondering if we would just start with "It's All Part of It." It's all part of it. Oh man, see what we already forgot how it.
It's all part of it.
There
Brought
it
to you
is.
by the Justin Masterson
Yes,
Show.
we're a little rusty here, people. It's okay.
I was like, well, cue what music, man?
Exactly. We still haven't made it into music, but we got, Pops is rocking the "It's All Part of It" shirt, just like I am. You can get one yourself if you'd like one. Just reach on out right now.
One day.
Yeah, and we'll have a way online someday, but right now we don't have that. So either way, I'll start off so you guys can think about it. And it's not really for me, but it's for my wife, because she was trying to ride a bike. And she does know how to ride a bike, so that's not it's all part of it. But she goes to get Cruz's bike, my son, and she's trying to adjust the seat height, and she does the little latchy thing that then tightens it and loosens it. So she undoes that, pulls the seat up, pulls the whole seat off, and the latch thing comes off, so she can't put it together, so she just puts that by the wayside. She's like, one bike down, and then she's like, I'm going to use Eden's bike. Perfect, oldest daughter. And so she gets on that bike. She starts going down the road, gets to like the end of the road, chain falls off, which that's happened to that bike before. And so she walks it back. Then she takes my bike, which love my bike, and she was riding it all the way to Cynthia Ann. So it's just a few miles down the road, meeting up me and the kids who were playing some pickleball, which was a lot of fun. And she's good. She gets there, no problem. And then she's just looking at us, and she's moving the bike. All of a sudden, the front tire deflates. Nothing. Nada. And so I'm like, what in the world? So I don't worry about it right at the moment. And then I get home, and I look at the bike, and there's a hole. So it must have been a screw or something that punctured through the tire, through everything else. And so I have not repaired that yet. But I looked and said, it's all part of it.
3 bikes down.
Oh my goodness, yes. Now at least I was able to fix Cruz's bike, able to fix Eden's bike, not my bike yet.
Yeah.
And so I haven't looked into that. So it's a wonderful start for the "It's All Part of It." You guys got anything in your neck of the woods? How about the rummage sale, Dad? Anything crazy happen while you've been doing this rummage sale over in Ohio? If you didn't know, my dad lives in Ohio. and he and his church friends are doing a rummage sale because they have a organization called Food Distribution, where they distribute meals to like 90 to 100, 110, 120 families every month, which is pretty cool. So they're raising some money for that by doing a rummage sale. Everybody's junk that's been put in, they got the church all lined up with stuff, and people come in. So any craziness going on at the rummage sale, Dad?
Well, we had a riding lawnmower, all the stuff that needed, but it burnt oil, it smoked like crazy. But a guy bought it for $50, and he'll fix it up and probably sell it for $300 or $400.
Nice.
So we're helping him out. He's a part of our food distribution, so I recognize him when he came in.
Oh,
but
nice.
Yeah, it's fun. We have a lot of fun meeting people, talking to people, and things like, well, your mom. We had a lady that
she's been on the show.
Yes, I know. She had a cart full of clothes. She had like 5 kids with her, so she had toys, clothes, and our checkout lady was giving her the price, and, well, all I have is so much money. Well, that's exactly what we're going to charge you. And it was a cool thing, is because it's not only about raising funds, it's about ministering to people.
Yeah. I mean, that's all part of it right there. That's all the money I got. That's all part of it.
That's good. That's good. We had a bike incident too, but my story's way too long. The bottom line is Leo's birthday.
Oh, yes.
And winds up, we found a wasp nest at the end of one of our trail rides, and my son got stung like 30 times by wasps. So we went down for his birthday. He's okay.
Good.
Got some Benadryl and no crazy reaction, but I think I got 3 stings, and he got like 30. So go down for his birthday and come back painfully stung and swollen, and we're like, man, this is your birthday. Happy birthday. I guess it's all part of it.
Oh man, that is crazy, because that looked like a really cool mountain bike little park there.
Yeah, we got to go. I mean, not get stung, but
yeah, I'd like to not get stung while we're doing that. That wouldn't be as enjoyable.
Yeah, they were like little demons coming out of the ground. It was wild.
No, they did that to my brother.
Really?
At one point in time, I think it was at church camp, and underneath the pavilion, he was over there. The tetherball was by the pavilion at that time, and came out, and stinking wasps, they just keep going pop, 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 pop. I'm like, a bee is just one and done, but the wasp just keeps on going. So that's not enjoyable. Sorry, Leo.
Yeah, sorry, John.
Yeah, he's doing better though. See, they'll survive. He's doing great right now. He's married. He's working at the post office. Good things, great people. My dad gets to see him more often than me, but he's in a good spot. But we are season 2. This should be episode 2. And I want to start off, last time we had my mom start season 1. And so now what better way than to bring in the pops? So Dad, give us a little bit. Well, I'll give a second or two just to move on. He's been my dad my whole life, which is not always the case for some,
true.
If they're adopted or whatnot. So he's, I know it's funny, but he has been my dad my whole life. And I've been a pastor and a teacher. He taught over Jamaican Theological Seminary, which is why I was born in Jamaica, and then pastored in Fort Wayne, has pastored in Ohio, at church in Beaver Creek for a long time, did a little work over in Springfield, Ohio, and is currently in Piqua, which looks like Piqua for you people who don't know, but a church in Piqua where he's ministering and doing their food distribution out of there. I mean, that's not all that defines him. The highlight that I would say right now, Dad, I know I'm going to let you speak here a second, but I think I was 18 or 19, and my dad and I, which my dad, some of an athlete, but we were at a youth all night event, and I was doing a little speaking at it, and we did 3-on-3 tournament that my dad joined my team for the first time, and we were the champions. You remember that, Dad?
I do.
And then Speaking of championships, we are coming off of a championship cornhole victory at Ludlow Falls Family Church Camp. We took the gold, beating. Who did we beat? What group was that? I don't know. It's a father-son combo.
Family camp?
Yeah, it was at family camp, and
Nice.
and we were victorious. Mastersons were just winners. That's
Wow.
So tell us, Dad, anything else you'd like to add to your bio, as you go along within that? Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, I grew up on a farm in northeastern Indiana, Wells County, Bluffton, Indiana, and had a call, probably when I was to my junior and senior year in high school to go into ministry.
Did it sound like this? Did it sound like this?
It's me.
Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted a reason to put that in. You may not be able to hear it as well, but it's little Taylor Swift. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. Continue on, sorry. So you got the call to ministry?
So you going to interrupt me again?
Yeah, eventually.
Probably.
I
Get
probably
used to
will.
it. I'll try to mute his microphone next time, but it's out of my reach, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, just keep you on your toes, Dad. See if you can remember stuff right now.
So I went to Fort Wayne Bible College and in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and worked on my degree. But then my sophomore year, I got the opportunity to spend my junior year in Jamaica at the Jamaica Theological Seminary. So I went there for a year, made a lot of good friends, and then 10 years later went back as a professor with your older sister. She was like 18 months, and then you were born while we were there.
Woohoo!
And then spent 2 years there. Came back to Fort Wayne, and had a good time there as a Christian education and music, and then went to Beaver Creek, Ohio, and was there 25 years.
Ooh, that's a long time.
Yep. But my focus in ministry has always been to make people think through their faith. Too many people just accept what a pastor says or what mom and dad says, and I learned at Fort Wayne that I needed to think for myself and think through my faith. So not only to know what I believe, but why I believe it. And that's pretty much been my focus throughout the years, trying to get people to think. So many people in the world today, they don't think anymore. They just react, or they take what somebody else says. I don't do that. I've listened to some radio preachers for years, and every now and then they'll say something. I think, no, wait a minute, and I'll go search it, and no, they're a little off base, but nobody's perfect.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was that put you to try and think for yourself in the midst of? I mean, you're at seminary, or probably before seminary, but then going into seminary and that type of stuff where they're doing lots of different things. Do you remember what it was that was like, hey, I need to start thinking for myself?
Well, like I said, between my junior and senior year was when I had the call through a missionary friend, and it just started me thinking, well, what do I know about the Bible, about Jesus? And went to college and took a test at the very beginning, entrance test on Bible knowledge, and realized I didn't know a whole lot. And so I just started working myself, my own time, plus classes, and realized how important it is, because there were just, even at that time, that was back the time of Richard Nixon and all the early to mid 70s. Yes, I am not a crook. But it's just, I looked at society and it's just gone worse since then. But people just didn't think; they just did. And you need to think about what you do.
Yeah, thinking is helpful most of the time. I mean, even though there are moments when I'm trying to get people to, on certain tasks, to not think as much, like when I'm getting them to pitch or hit or do some things. It's like you're overthinking the process. Take a deep breath, trust what you've learned. But then there's the opposite side of, did you even think? Like, did you use any of that part of your brain that would go, man, this isn't a good idea, or what the consequences would have on that? So yeah, I can appreciate it because it's helped me think. Even though, they told me I wasn't very smart when I was a kid, I have been able to use my brain to think through and learn about people that are smarter than me and surround myself with great people like Mr. Zappasodi over here.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Mark, he got this from you, and that I didn't know that was kind of maybe your baseline for when you started in your seminary or in your process of schooling. But Justin has always said, I took it upon myself to kind of study the different religions or the different thoughts out there, and partly because you're raised one way. I mean, you can only show your kid the world so much, right? I mean, we're not made of gold where you can just travel and teach your kids the whole thing. So he gets a very biased opinion from just being in your house. And so maybe he got that from you, but I've always thought that was interesting. Justin's like, yeah, my dad's a pastor, but I didn't just do that, default because, I wanted to explore and learn and think. So, yeah, I don't know if that intentionally got passed down or just.
I think it did because I remember as the kids are growing up, I'd ask questions about this TV show or this thing that happened, or we'd go see a movie and I'd point out, did you notice that in this scene they had this on, and right the next scene, even though it should have been the same outfit, they had a different outfit on. So again, just thinking through what are they doing?
Right. Well, and being able to try and guess what was going to happen next. Because I feel like that was a part of it too, like would lead to, all right, they're doing this. You see these things happening, so now you're understanding. Where do you think they're going to go? Probably here. Yep, they did. Like not just because things work that way, but then also you'd give me a book, and you'd be like, here, why don't you read this, or an article here, take a look at this, and these little tidbits, and not like, hey, this is what you need to think and this is what you need to do, read this and then see what goes from there. So there's lots of bits of that.
I didn't want to force it down your throat or into your heart or life. I wanted you to learn and think and do it, believe it yourself.
Right. So then you take ownership of it, and it's not just my dad's faith or my mom's faith. It is, it's mine. It's me. Hi. If I'm the problem, it's me. So let's get into it. As far as I want to try to get 3 questions. The first one, and we'll go through the pastor's world for this, because I could ask you multiple. I ask you what it's like being a dad. What it's like being a husband, what it's like being a son, and countless other ones when it comes down to it. But we'll just go this. What has been the most difficult thing over the years about being a pastor?
People.
So you don't pastor animals or herds of livestock? That would be easier, I'm sure. Tell. What
about these people?
Well, people are great, but people can be mean, they can be cruel, they can be nice, they can be loving and caring, they can be misled, they can be deceived, they can hang on to stereotypes. I remember one young lady in the church we were at. She was like in her 40s, but she had the mentality of like a fourth grader. She was handicapped, disabled. And so she came in wearing a tennis outfit, which was fine. Nothing wrong with that, except one of my deacons was trying to tell her, well, that's not really appropriate to wear. And then so I had to take him aside and say, no, it's okay. She can wear this. It's not immodest or anything.
Right.
You're not going to wear it. Your wife's not going to wear it, but she can wear it. So people, and then the ones that, they kind of backstab you a little bit or something. You think, well, that happens in the church? Well, it happens everywhere. It happens in the factory. It happens. I remember working in a factory once, tire factory, BF Goodrich, for one summer. And I was, what they called splitting or whatever. It's taking the tires and putting the rubber together.
Okay.
Well, the one guy yelled at me and said, hey, you're working too fast. Slow down. So people are interesting, but it's also hard sometimes to deal with them.
Well, yeah. And if we're going that, early on, you would say, I would say one of the cool things about you was the fact that you didn't also like overly emphasize the rules. Like there were at home, like the way that we would go about our lives and do things, but like, to the thing, like we'd go play hide and go seek at the church, and there'd be some people who would get fired up about the fact that kids are running around in the sanctuary, and even though we didn't really break much stuff and didn't really cause too much trouble in that way, but just how they're running through, they're doing all this, like they're desecrating the Lord's house or all those types of things. And yet, whether it's not, it was just you enjoyed hearing the voices of the kids while you're in your office or being close to your family or whatnot. Like I appreciate that you weren't overly legalistic when it comes to things, and that's kind of like as the story you told, like she came in wearing this, you were aware of the situation, and someone else was like, you can't be having that in here, and you're like, no, it's okay, like just take a deep breath, God still loves us. I don't know.
Zappo, I got to tell you about this, talking about damaging the building.
Yeah.
Okay, Justin's in the sanctuary, the auditorium, practicing his pitching.
Oh, yeah.
and he threw one time and went all the way into the back room and put a big hole in the wall.
Wait, I might have heard this. Did you try to patch it yourself or something?
No, I did not.
Okay,
on this, no, it's still there. I mean,
the hole's still there.
No, the hole's not there, but the ball's probably still in the wall. Like if we went back there and opened it up, we could probably find that ball. Because again, the idea, it was like, hey, I may have mentioned it before, but we put the mound up by the middle of all the chairs, closer to the platform. And then I was going to the back, and there was an opening in the back where I just dropped the net down. And so I was hitting it, and then one just went under the net, hit the grass, the carpet. The carpet would get these white marks, when I'd be bouncing balls in there and stuff like that. But no, I appreciate that. But people,
it's just a building.
It is. That it is.
Well,
but
that's offensive. That's offensive. Okay, first of all, that you would call a church just a building.
Wow.
I thought you were a pastor. What kind of a pastor are you over there, Reverend?
Well, our current church is actually in an old restaurant, cafeteria. And before that, it was a used car dealer. So it's a building.
That's right.
It is. And then you have the people that are the most difficult part that come into the building, right? But that is a challenging thing, dealing with people in the midst of whatever we're doing, because it's just hard. Now, you do a pretty good job, just because I like talking about this. Now, when you're dealing with people, you handle your emotions pretty good. Has there been anything particular that you do to like stay in check? And I mean, I know sometimes you get frustrated with your wife, but when you're out and about, you don't seem to get frustrated with the other people. How do you handle that? Is there anything special you do, or is it just like, well, it's just me?
Well, part of it's just me. God has wired me that I'm a kind of a laid back, phlegmatic type person. But it's also God has worked in my heart and my life. I still get angry.
Mm-hmm.
Not perfect. But God has done his work, and I'm glad for that. Try to apply the scriptures, love one another, judge not lest you be judged. But yet that doesn't keep me from being using my brain and looking at stuff saying, hey, that's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or you shouldn't be doing that, because that's all part of it.
That's right. It's all part of it. So what's been the best thing about being a pastor over the years?
People.
Nice. See a theme here.
What is this, a sermon or something? You're just going to use the same stuff and work through it? Like,
Is that what they do?
No, I think of all the people that God has brought into my life, brought me into their life, and I've been able to be an encouragement, a challenge to them, to make them think, to see them. There's a bunch of guys out there now, especially that they're all growing in their walk with Christ and ministering to people, and I'm just pleased I had a part in that to help them in their walk with God, and I see that with you and your brother and your sister and the things that you guys are doing, and it's encouraging to me and your mom to see your strong faith and how it's yours, it's not ours.
mm-hmm.
And so it's people. Here's the thing. When I was in high school, I took like an aptitude test or something, and I geared it directly that I would become a forest ranger out in the middle of nowhere, so I wouldn't have to deal with people. And that's when God said, no, I've got a sense of humor, Mark. I'm going to make you work with people the whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, that is.
And it's been great. I've enjoyed it. There are times I wish I was out in the middle of the forest as a ranger, but most times it's been a good thing.
Yeah, because you were always, I mean, as a kid, which you were, had some brothers and sisters, but you read a lot, right? Kind of hide and go read.
Yep.
Had your little special place. Did you have a special place you go to read?
Yeah, in our farmhouse, the heat came up one great big register. It was like 4x4 on the floor. And there was enough room there for chairs. And of course, in the wintertime, it was nice because it'd be nice and warm there. But I just go, it's kind of off to the side. And I'd go in there and read my books. And Mom would call me for dinner and I wouldn't even hear her. I was so focused on reading. But,
hey.
I used to go in the fields out in the back all by myself and just let my imagination run. And I'm a people person, but I like to have my quiet time.
Yeah. Well, see, and we can tell, like, if Mom gets frustrated that you don't hear her, it's just because you're locked into a book or you're just locked into your thoughts. See, like, you've been doing that since you were a kid. Like, it's nothing new. Remember that, Judy. Have some patience with your husband.
It's hard on Mom, I know.
Yeah. Well, God does have a sense of humor in that. Side note, like as you get older, the literally the tuning of a man's ear can't hear a woman's voice, and the woman's voice can't hear a man's voice. So it's like, or woman's ear can't hear a man's voice. So it's like God knows. He's like, you guys shouldn't live forever. I'm just gonna make this a little more miserable for you. And yeah.
Now, do you have any any stories about like some real neat experience with people or a person, back in the day or currently or whatever? Because I know, you were very intentional about, going to this auto body shop so that you could, try and encourage, was it Carl? Maybe it wasn't Carl.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Carl. And then going to the same barber shop and being able to talk and encourage and hang out and, see if maybe that would make an impact in a life. And then you're always on Fridays heading down to the gospel mission, in Dayton and impacting many ways, shapes, and forms. Any stories of just the positiveness of people or your interaction or whatever?
Well, I won't mention his name, but there was a guy in our neighborhood in Beaver Creek, and you'll know who he is. He was an alcoholic, and first time I met him, he had a six-pack of beer sitting down on the sidewalk at the church. And so we got acquainted, talked, did a lot of things together. I'd go get him out of jail, and and I can't say that he came to faith in Christ or anything, but we had a good relationship. Good, I was a listener, and I tried to help him as much as I could, and so he was a good friend. But he's in God's hands.
Yeah, he wouldn't he ride his lawnmower around the neighborhood?
Oh yeah,
because he couldn't actually drive a car.
Yeah, he got a ticket once because he was riding his lawnmower drunk.
Oh boy.
It was, but it was. You're right. Probably someone who'd never had anybody in their life before who took the moment to listen, and it was always weird for him, I'm sure at first, like what's going on here, and yet he kept on coming back until he passed away. But yeah, no, that's some neat things. So what advice? Now, it's not necessarily to someone who wants to be a pastor or whatever. It could be about anything. I know we've been talking about, the hardest and best things about being a pastor is the people, which is also great for you that you didn't have to deal with the semantics of running a business and stuff, not because you didn't have good. I mean, at some point in time, you had a couple hundred people in your churches, and sometimes you had 15, 20, 30 people attending. But I think what was always so great about you is why you're so impactful and intentional relationally is because you never had the goal of garnering something huge and big. Like you weren't willing to sacrifice your family in order to get there. Like you're intentional, even though I'm sure there's moments you thought like, I wish I could have been here or been with my family more. I think me and my brother and sister would say you were there and did a great job. But in that journey for you, like what advice would you give for somebody or give to your younger self or whatnot that you think would be helpful or enjoyable?
Well, I think you kind of mentioned it. That is, you have to have priorities, but you also need to make sure that family is right there at the top. I remember getting a call once. I was at a board meeting, and you need to come home and pull this tooth. So I did. I went home, pulled the tooth, went back to the meeting.
Nice.
You were a good tooth puller.
But so family is right up there. And Paul wrote to Timothy. He said, whoever, if you neglect your family, that's really bad news. That's not good at all. But probably my life verse is Isaiah 40:31. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And for me, that was a good thing. The waiting, not trying to run ahead of God, not trying to lag behind God, but walking with God in all that I did. And I've not been perfect, but that's been my goal, my guide, And I would pass it on. I would say to my younger self, thanks for doing that. I mean, that was
perfect. Yeah.
That was good. So I would pass that on, just wait upon the Lord, be patient, let the fruit of the Spirit bloom in you. And then in all of it, become like Jesus. Walk the way he walked, walk in his steps. If you become like Jesus, you don't have to worry about, should I do this? Should I do that? Because you're the old WWJD, what would Jesus do? That was kind of a fad, but yet that's an actual good principle to follow.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've tried to do.
Well, and an author of mine that I like, he kind of put the WWIJD. Now, he didn't actually say it that way, but instead is what would Jesus do? What is Jesus? Actually, it wouldn't be WWWI, whatever.
Yeah. It's what is Jesus doing?
What is Jesus doing? Because he's here, he's living, he's active, and he would say, "I watch the Father. As I watch the Father, I do what I see the Father do. Therefore, watch me and do what you see me do." And I think that's something too that we, like I watch my Father, that's you, as you're watching Jesus and he's watching the Father, just seeing that trickle down to how it goes and the beauty of what it is. And so we're just watching and doing and seeing and being a part of it. Is there any like tricks, do you have any like tips to be able to do that? I mean, I know I say this in the most loving way. When you're not perfect, the only thing that comes out is that you, which I do sometimes also, procrastinate. Like you have the ability to procrastinate at times.
Oh yes, I'm an A1 procrastinator.
So there's that in itself can kind of slow you down and then speed you up, kind of at the end. But aside from like trying to get people to procrastinate a little bit, like what. Is there anything that has helped you to slow down and I don't have to run up there and do that, like God's working, in the midst of it? And it made it sound like it resonates with me because I've been reading a book called With, which is a really good book. And you had said like being with God and spending time with him, any particular ways that you try and do that?
No, I mean, there's always the basics. You spend time reading the Bible and praying and that kind of stuff. But just for me, probably it's getting outdoors, outside, and walking.
Yeah.
And spending that time thinking and praying and enjoying the creation that God has given us. And so that's kind of what one thing I do. Can I tell you one story though?
Maybe. Yes, please, Dad.
Well, I was always called Pastor Mark by the church people, and so Justin and John would call me Pastor Mark, and so I called them Pastor Mark's son. Okay. Well, Justin. And you were probably there too.
Yeah, he was here. He was there.
Indiana Wesleyan, playing a baseball game. Justin's up to bat.
Playing Huntington.
And there's like full count or 2 strikes. I don't know what it was. And so I yelled out, "Go, Pastor Mark's son." And what did he do with the next pitch? He hit a home run.
Homer, baby. That's right.
One of the 10 that year.
That's right.
And I asked him later, I said, "Did you hear me yell that?" And he said, "Yes, I did." And then he hit it. So I've used that as this is for the Father. And I've spoken with that and told this story, and because that's our lives. Our lives are to be for the Father. And so that's
true.
a fun story.
No, it is, because I remember it, because it was that moment, like literally, let's go, Pastor Mark's son, and then I'm like, this one's for you, Dad. And so then, it was Huntington. I think we were down like 1-0 or something, and then I think that was like a 2-run homer put us up. It was like the I think conference play or something like that.
Playoffs or something, yeah.
Yeah. Did it
Nice.
to them back when Bethel's working on their skills. They're not as, we were really good back then. Right?
I plead the fifth. No comment.
We were really good back then. Weren't we
Oh,
good?
no, we were. I thought you were talking about right now.
No.
I don't know right now.
I wasn't going to go into right now
We're not
because I
going there.
didn't want to go into right now.
We
I'm
were
saying
good.
We were really good.
We hit the most home runs in school history. We had the best winning record and percentage in school history. So, and then one of our catchers, it might not be a record anymore, but one of our catchers got the most hit by pitches in one season.
Oh, Josh Hauk?
Yeah, there's just so many records broke. Our main, anyway. So back to the stories here. I'm reading a book that I don't even know the title because I read 5 at a time, but
Of course you do.
the author was trying to get this analogy with what Justin said with I do what the Father does. I model my behavior. I'm with the Father. And so I model that down, and then you guys can model it from me. And he's talking about the ultimate sacrifice of sacrificing Jesus on the cross. And he goes back to Abraham with the Isaac and then the ram that was sacrificed instead. And so that analogy, that key is he's like, I actually am fulfilling what the Father sacrificed his only son. And so this is what I am now going to do. Like, it's not actually me doing the sacrificing. And I hadn't really heard it. I'm sure I've heard it tried to be talked about that way, but it's kind of this upside down thought process is even though Jesus did it, like he's the man, he's really just saying, no, my Father told me he's the one who's sacrificing. And so that's kind of neat. Your analogy with, how Justin and you and what you're modeling. But I also think all these things that you're talking about being patient. You're talking about not having or caring about having a big church. You're talking about getting away from people to be with people. Like, these are upside down concepts. I'm familiar with the scriptures and I know where you're getting them, but was that easy for you, or did this take 40 years to get to this kind of thought process? When was it clicking? You're always thinking, but was it clicking right away? Like, I've got a lot to learn. Let me dig in deeper. Or did this come out later in your life for these thought processes?
I would say it happened earlier, that I dug deep, to find out, what I needed to do as a pastor and so forth. And I'll be honest, I really wanted to be a missionary. That I wanted to go overseas, which is what we did. I was a youth pastor for a couple of years, went to seminary and then pastored for 4. And then 1984, we went to Jamaica, and I loved it in Jamaica. Jamaica is a very low key, slow kind of culture. So I was like a type A personality there.
God did put you there for a reason. Nice.
Right near the beach, boy.
It was great. And of course it gave Justin, the unique claim to fame of being one of the few Jamaican Major League Baseball players, and especially pitchers. So
yeah. I
worked on it early. Yeah, I was focused.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like it. Yeah, one of four Jamaican born, the only Jamaican born pitcher. But there have been some other Jamaicans. There's a guy, Mike Morse, who is of Jamaican descent. I think his mom or dad is Jamaican, but he wasn't actually born in Jamaica, in the scheme of it. But it's some cool things. Well, Dad, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to wrap it up here and be appreciative. So we will say thank you. What's that, Dad?
I'll talk at you later.
Yes, you will. So we want to thank our sponsors, PHARE Warrior, who's trying to connect men to Jesus, build relationships, and make disciples. Our friends over at Wayfinders, who are helping people activate their purpose and equipping the saints. Thanks to Pastor Mark and his people at Food Distribution, Strong Walk Ministries, doing incredible stuff. Maybe I'll put a little bit of something in the notes if you want to encourage them and join the family they got going on. But on behalf of me, Justin, and my partner, Mr. Matthew Zappasodi, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you want to say anything, just feel free. Love you all.
Love you, Pastor Mark.
Love you.